Hello everybody, welcome to Ship Nuggets. My name is Omo Mokwede. I'm really excited and delighted that you've joined us for this broadcast. Before I begin, I want to just say a big shout out to everyone that has liked, subscribed, and has just expressed interest in this channel. It really means a lot to us, and I'm really thankful for your participation. Special shout out to Yomi Films. Thank you for doing this video for us, and I'm very excited to bring this broadcast to you. Today I'm going to be talking about leadership, but before I go into the real details, the meat and potatoes, if you will, of leadership, I just want to just say something real briefly about what Ship Nuggets is all about. Well, for those of you that are just joining in, this is your one-stop shop for learning about leadership, followership, relationships, entrepreneurship, worship, stewardship, mentorship. And these are the ships that I believe that we all need in life to take us to where we need to go to, especially when it comes to being successful in life. Now, the interesting thing about these ships, like I always say, is that all these ships are interrelated. They're interconnected. They are, one leads to another, if you will. You cannot learn about leadership without learning about followership. You cannot learn about followership without learning about relationships. You can't learn about relationships if you don't even know what stewardship or mentorship is. You can't learn about stewardship of mentorship if you don't know how to take advantage of opportunities via entrepreneurship. So they're all related. See, I believe that you can walk and chew gum at the same time. So, I definitely respect people who are specialists in these individual areas, but I think that we should look at these things, these ships, from a holistic perspective. So when I'm going to be talking about leadership, followership, although I'll have specific themes, but I'm going to be presenting them from that interconnected, holistic aspect. So that's what Ship Nuggets is all about. It's not a place, like my daughter said, oh, Daddy, are you going to be on a ship eating chicken nuggets? No, it's not about getting on a ship and eating chicken nuggets. It's about learning about these things that are metaphorically called ships of leadership, of followership, and learning about how to apply these things in our daily lives. So I'm talking about leadership today, and what is leadership? Where did that construct come from? First of all, the leadership construct is a ship that everybody wants to go into. You just do a Google search on leadership and you'll find millions of hits. Millions of books have been written about leadership. Thousands and thousands, in fact, millions of studies have been written about leadership. And today I just want to kind of talk a little bit about what leadership is. See, for me personally, the subject of leadership has been a very interesting one for me. I'm the eldest of 6 kids, so the whole concept of leadership was kind of ingrained in me right from when I was a little boy. And over time, I've seen myself, I've had to lead different groups and different peoples at different stages. And so the topic is quite naturally very fascinating to me. And also, we see the effect of leadership in our daily life. In the political world, we see the effect of leadership. In a corporate world, we see the effect of leadership. We see the effects of good leadership and the effects of bad leadership. We also see the effects of leadership within ourselves, self-leadership. And so this subject is very important for us to learn. So what is it about leadership? Well, after kind of looking through different studies, and by the way, I actually studied leadership for 5 years, accumulating a PhD, thanks to God. But from my studies, what did I find? I found out, number one, that there is definitely no agreed definition of what leadership means. I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't realize that. Leadership is defined in many ways and defined by many people and expressed in different ways. Different types of leadership exist. Different definitions of leadership exist. As a matter of fact, a study by Bruce Winston and Kathleen Patterson, they did a study about just the different articles, over 23,000 articles on leadership. And they tried to come up with a condensed definition of what leadership is all about. What they found was that leadership could be described using over 90 different characteristics. For example, a leader could be defined as someone who influences people. Leadership could be defined as a behavior. Leadership could be defined as a trait. They studied these different research out there and found out that, wow, there's just so much out there. So they tried to kind of condense the definition of leadership, which everybody, by the way, never agrees with. And this is what they came up with, which I like. It says, a leader is one or more people. One or more people. So many times there's this misconception that leadership or a leader is only just one person. But you can have different groups of people leading other groups of people. So it's not just one person. I think the reason why people focus on just this one person theory is because in the past they've had this study called the great man theory. The great man theory is the fact that it is based on the premise that people believe that a leader is just someone who has specific traits that separates them from everybody else. So specific behaviors or traits that they have. For example, in the Old Testament, when Samuel was going to anoint a king, in the scriptures, the Bible says that he went to the house of Jesse. And when he got there, he asked Jesse to present his sons. And when Jesse presented his son, he presented his first son, Eliab, and he was so tall and handsome and strapping. And Samuel said, wow, that must be the king. Why? Because he had some physical traits and physical characteristics that distinguished him. But you see, he wasn't the king because you see, leadership is much more than your trait. It's much more than how tall you are, how handsome you are, how beautiful you are. It's much more than charisma or not. Those are traits that you have that could accentuate or help your leadership. But that's not what leadership ultimately is. But back to the definition by Winston and Kathleen Paterson. Leadership is, a leader is one or more people, right, who select, equip, train, and influence one or more people or followers who have recognized that these followers have gifts, abilities, and skills, and then they focus these followers to the mission and objectives, thereby helping them accomplish that overall goal. It's a mouthful, but what I want to bring out from that definition is that a leader is a person who first selects. So it's not about just influence. Influence is a part of leadership, but leadership also includes selecting the people. I'm reminded of the story of Jesus Christ. Before he started his ministry, he took some time to pray and fast before he went out to select the 12 disciples. Leaders are people who select. It's not just about influencing. Before you influence, you have the responsibility of selecting the right people to be on your boat, the right people to be on your ship. You have to look beyond just you coming to just lead people. You have to be able to select them. And even if you're in a situation where you come into a situation, even when you come into a situation where there are people already existing there, you still need to select those that are going to be part of your core team. You still need to select those that are going to work as part of your mid-level team. You still need to select those that you need to work in a particular project and those that you need to not work on a particular project. So in other words, selection is key. In addition to selection, equipping. So it's not just enough to select people, you have to equip them with the resources that they need. You see, a follower can be as motivated as ever, but if that follower is not equipped with the necessary tools for success, then that's just a recipe for disaster. So leaders select, but they also equip. Give the tools for success. You will be asking too much of your followers or your employees if you do not equip them with the tools. The next thing there is train. Leaders train their followers. They give them not only the tools for success, but they spend time training them, teaching them, just helping them to develop themselves with regards to the overall goals and purpose of the organization. Then we come to influence. Influence. Now, when you talk about influence, I like what John Maxwell said in his book, 21 Laws of Leadership, that leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. I agree with him. It is all about influence. But how does this influence come about? Do you just walk up to people and say, I want to influence you now? No. Influence comes when there is what we call value alignment. Most times, people who feel they are not aligned with your values will not want you to influence them as a leader. So you have to figure out, where do these people stand as far as values? Do our values align? And if our values do not align, how can I get them to align with my values? How are they in terms of who they are personality-wise? Have you reached out to them? Have you touched their heart? See, it's most likely you will not be able to influence somebody that you've not really touched. You will not be able to influence somebody if you've not really had a connection with. And I'm going to be talking in the next video about power and how leaders, use and utilize their power. But for you to have influence, you have to be able to reach beyond the surface of that employee, reach beyond the surface of that follower, get there to their felt needs and help them grow and develop. See, it's all about alignment of values. The second part of it is not just alignment of values. It's all about, okay, what are they about? Where are they heading? Does the end goal of what I'm presenting to them as a leader align with their own end goal? Because most of the time, you're trying to get somebody to do stuff or influence somebody to do stuff, but it seems like you as a leader are just being selfish because you're not taking into consideration that other person's end goal, that other person's end objective. So you find where many people go to work and they don't have a relationship with their boss. Not that you have to have one, but they're just doing things because of the paycheck. So as a leader, you want to be able to have different ways where you can find out, get feedback from your followers, get feedback from your employees to find out where they are in life. Where are you in life? Where are you heading? And do our objectives align? And once you do that, you find that it will be easy for you to influence them. When you communicate consistently with those members of your organization, using the different forms of communication, active listening, verbal communication, just feedback, having participatory kind of activities, you create an atmosphere where, as a leader, you'll be able to influence them. So what I'm saying here, and based on this definition, is that leaders select, they equip, they train, and then influence one or more people with the objective of recognizing that these people are not just zombies. These people are not just people, the hired hands. You see, many times I look at leaders and I'm perplexed. Why? Because they treat their followers or they treat their employees like just hired hands. They look down upon them and think like these people don't have abilities, they're just there to do a job. No, that's the wrong approach to leadership. So a leader not only selects, trains, equips, and influences people, but a leader recognizes the abilities and the skills of the people that they are leading, so that what? They can come together at the end of the day, and then they can go together in line with that vision that has been cast by the leader and accomplish the purpose. So if you ask me again, Omo, who is a leader? A leader is simply a person or a group of people that have taken time to select people that they're going to work with, to train and equip those people and influence them, recognizing those people's giftings, recognizing their talents, recognizing their abilities, so that those people can use their energy and willingness to accomplish company goals. So that's leadership in a nutshell. There's a lot more to it, and I'm going to be talking about it in our next video. So I'll catch you on the top. Keep sailing to success. Catch you later.